Welcome to the United States of Tiffany. Our commentary offers a humorous take on wrestling. Please note, we're not bullying or attacking the wrestlers. We're engaging with the choreographed sport and its storylines. Our jokes and observations are about the characters and storylines, not the real people behind them. Tourists and citizens alike, welcome. Enjoy the show, and remember, it's all in good fun.
Okay, so I didn't want to watch the Inter Raw. I didn't feel like it. I'm pretty sure Jimmy and Jay or Jimmy and West and them are gonna win. I don't care. I really don't care who wins. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude. I just don't. I don't care who wins. So let's get into the show. The show started off with John. John came out there and had a speech. He was at his alma mater for college. He was talking about being, this being his last go around. They sold out the place. They had to cut the stage in half because they wanted to give. If you hear something, it's just Gerard. He's playing online. So they cut the stage in half so that they could have enough the people in the back. So those seats that usually would block off, they ended up selling those. So they sold out the arena damn near. And he just took up maybe 10 minutes tops, which I was fine with because he didn't really do anything different or say anything different. I'm disappointed that they keep Brock Lesnar and John Cena separate. If they're gonna do this, they need to make it so that it's worthwhile for the build-up. They're not. Yes, dear, it came on at 7, baby. It came on at 7. So if you're interested in watching them battle it out or at least create some type of build for it, you're gonna be sorely disappointed because you're not gonna get it. As far as I know, the match is on for Saturdays. WrestlePalooza is Saturday, and the most they've done is have Brock Lesnar lay out John Cena like 3 times, maybe like once or twice. I think he's laid him out once at SummerSlam, and then just recently on the last SmackDown when they were in um, Chicago. That was the last time these two interacted. So I'm just ready for this tour to be over. And I love John Cena. I do. I'm probably gonna cry on his last night, but I'm really just ready for this to be done with so we can move on And the time that they've allotted to John can be allotted to someone else, and we can see what they're going to do with it. Because at this point, we are just spinning our hamster wheels and it's not giving us anything. So, anyways, let's move on. We had a couple matches on the card. So Penna went up against Kofi. Really good match between the two of them. Penna ended up beating Kofi, but this led to an attack by Xavier Woods tonight. He beat the brakes off of Penna with a chair. The War Raiders came back there to kind of assist Penna, but by then the damage was already done. So yeah. Lyra Valkyria and Roxanne actually had the first match of the night. Jared.
I mean, I got my small form right now.
Lyra Valkyria and Roxanne had the first match of the night. Actually, it was really good between the two of them. Lyra's having some lower back issues, it seems, and they've been targeting her back ever since last week with Raquel. Roxanne lost, and Lyra was getting beat up by both Roxanne and Raquel, and Bayley came out there. Now, I told y'all that Bayley has split into 3 versions of herself. You have the hugger, you got Ding Dong Hello Bayley, and then you have the role model, which is a combination of the two. Bayley, it seems, is very much living in her Joker era, which I kind of like because you don't know what bag she's going to come out of. And I really think that that is a niche that she can really rest in and have a good time utilizing to her favor. I think that they should revisit Bayley and Becky having their match because this would throw Becky off of her game tremendously. And it'd be fun to watch which character would come out against Becky and how this would play out in Bayley's favor. So I'm very interested. He said, damn, I missed the whole show, babe. It came on at 7. And it's probably still on right now with the last match, but I didn't want to watch it. I'm just being honest. It was the last match was set up to be Jimmy and LA Knight versus Braun and Bronson Reed. I don't want to watch that. Why? Because we're gonna have a tag team match at WrestlePalooza with the Usos and Braun and Bronson Reed. What they should have done is had Jay Uso face off against LA Knight tonight in a main event. That would have been more pertinent. Then you could have had the Vision come down there and attack them during the match. And they could have let them work out their grievances and somebody can almost get a pinfall or whatever the case may be. But then you let the Vision come down there and attack. They really overdid it with having Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker wrestle 3 weeks in a row in the main event of Monday Night Raw. This time in tag team form, it's completely unnecessary. I can give less than a damn who won the match. The match shouldn't have happened. You have given us a whole peep the whole card. I have no desire to watch this match at WrestlePalooza for what? You just gave me 3 out of the 4 members who will be in it at WrestlePalooza right here on Monday Night Raw for free. I'm not going to sit up here and watch it on ESPN too. Not doing it. Not doing it. I can't. Okay? It's too much. I need them to figure this shit out. But at this point, it's just not worth it's not the time, it's not worth the time or the effort to watch, if that makes sense. So let me get off this rant. So, like I said, Pammy Pockets came down.
He's 7'4".
Jesus. Pammy Pockets came down there for the save. And then she, pretty much hugged everybody and left. So Hugger Bailey came in while she was staring at Lyra. She popped up and then Bailey went and hugged everybody. She hugged Joe. She hugged Corey and kissed Corey on the forehead. She ran out and hugged all the fans and was giving them all slaps and fives. So Hugger Bailey took over for that point. When she got in the back, she got into a huge argument with herself. Role model Bailey was trying to keep the peace, but Ding Dong Hello Bailey was angry and upset that she went out there and she helped Lyra when Lyra said those awful things to her. She felt like You went out there and did this, and you didn't even consult us first. You just went out there and did it. And of course, Hugger Bailey's trying to calm her down. Role model Bailey's trying to keep the peace. And then all you hear is a boom on the door from Ding Dong Hello Bailey. And then everything goes quiet. Lyra's standing out there completely freaked out. She goes in there cautiously to try to talk to Bailey, but by then, Ding Dong Hello Bailey had taken over. And she was just like, Bailey, I'm really sorry about the way I spoke to you. Um, I really apologize about that, and I thank you for coming out there and giving me a little bit of help.
No.
And Bailey was just like, you're apologizing for how you talked to me. She was like, well, you didn't even think about knocking on my door. You just walk in here. She said, what if I was changing? What if I had company? Like, you don't know what was going on. You just bust in my room. Like, she was like, you know what? I'm sick of the disrespect. Like, Bailey went off. Okay, she went off, and of course, Lyra was scared. She was scared. She didn't know what to do.
Shot.
Yeah, but you know what, Nicole, you didn't miss much. The only thing I recommend that you watch is I like the match with El Grande Americano and Dragon Lee. That match was fun. That match was
Right.
so much fun. It was so much fun. I do think you should watch that match. Anything else? I'm not gonna tell you what you should and shouldn't watch. I'll just say if you enjoy some wrestling, watching Kyrie and Stephanie Becker fight it out is a good time. Um, I will say that the match with Roxanne and Lyra was a good time. That was a good match. And then we saw the battle of words between the homies. Okay, the aunties and the uncles of the WWE. Uncle Phil and Auntie Lee versus Auntie Lynch and Uncle Seth. Okay, let me tell y'all what happened between these four. Okay. I got the last 5 minutes of that match. Okay. That was a good match. If you missed El Grande Americano and Dragon Lee's match, when they put which replay should be up by now, you need to go watch that. That was a fun match. That match was crazy.
The defense.
I saw the whole Kyrie and Stephanie match. Okay. Okay. Then you really didn't miss anything. You know what I'm saying? You didn't miss you did miss the meat of the show, which was this. Okay. You missed the big chunk of that, but they didn't really fight. They just had a little back and forth, and then Becky and Seth got the drop on Lee and Punk. Okay. And let me tell y'all what happened. So Seth and Becky came out there, and y'all ever watch The Incredibles?
Shot.
Where Syndrome is telling everybody and how you watch The Incredibles, and in the beginning you see Frozone and Mr. Incredible talking about the old days and how how the heels monologue all the time, the villains monologue too much. That's what these two was doing. Okay, they wasn't really saying anything. If we're being fair, I mean, they came out there and immediately got mad because the fans was cheering for CM Punk. So Seth decided to ignore the fans and completely was directing his attention towards us, which, all right, both of them came out there dressed like, I mean, okay. So Seth's outfit, it was nice, it was simple, and it was leather. Both of them came out there in leather. I don't know what's Becky's obsession with very wide parachute style pants, but that's what she had on. I like the top. The top part of her outfit was really cute. I just wish Becky would, I just wish she would girl it up a little bit more. Becky's got great body. Becky could wear just about anything. Okay. I just want her to just give it a little tea, just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Becky come out there dressed like the most high fashion tomboy you can find, which ain't nothing wrong with that. But sometimes when your husband is out dressing you, it's a problem, sweetheart. Okay, it's a problem. Okay, I'm just saying. And Troy's dressing both of y'all. Becky, come on, girl. You're making enough money to give us something. Okay? All right. They both came out there dressed like they was villains in the Matrix, if we being honest. All right. But well, I wouldn't say that. They look like they was coming from the ship. The Nebuchadnezzar and all that. They look like they was coming from the ship and patching into the Matrix on a piracy level. They didn't look like the agents. They looked like they was coming in to the Matrix to, get their bodies back, get sent back to the plant so they can get hooked back up to the Matrix and live their life in the Matrix because they don't want to live out there eating gruel and motherfucking being cold and shit all for the rest of their lives. They don't like being free. That's what they look like. Now, AJ Lee and CM Punk came out there dressed like they normally dress. For them to be for them to be millionaires, they don't look the part. Okay. They dress like a typical millionaire would dress. Somebody who is not of somebody who is of affluence, but that doesn't matter. You know, that's how they look. That's how they dressed. Um, Essentially, the conversation between the two was, hold on. Nah, they were that dude that was all offense and no defense. True. Why don't they have a new render for that lady? I don't know, but they're using her OG render. Okay. So listen, AJ Lee and Becky Becky came at AJ Lee first, and basically Becky was like, "Girl, I read your book. I read your book, and we all know that your neck is not the healthiest." So she was like, the first thing she did was accuse CM Punk of putting his wife out there to possibly be injured. She didn't understand why he included her in his fight, and she felt like he has endangered her because he don't care about nothing, and he never has. Now, prior to this, CM Punk addressed the nature of Becky and Seth's egos because both of them are so ego driven, so competitive, and because the both of them don't want to cower to the other, which you shouldn't. But nobody will relent. Nobody will follow the other's lead. And when they came out there, it was very apparent that they both are on separate paths but have a similar goal. Whereas CM Punk and AJ Lee seem to be on the same path with the same goal. You feel what I'm saying? Now, this can work out in two different ways for both of these groups. For Seth and Becky, divide and conquer will work. If Seth works on CM Punk and Becky works on AJ Lee, the both of them just have to make sure they fulfill their end of the deal in order to win the match. However, with CM Punk and AJ Lee, they are working as a unit. They operate as a unit, they win as a unit, and that also can be to their advantage. CM Punk doesn't have to do anything. All he has to do is run the interference enough to let AJ get the offense off, and the game is over and they've won. So, two different strategies, and both strategies could lead to a W, but it depends on how well each unit works for them to win. With that being said, CM Punk doubled down on the fact that Seth and Becky both were not on the same accord, that their egos get in the way, that, oh, you decided to come out there to your own music and your wife had to come out to her own music. You couldn't put yourself to the side and let your wife have her moment. And Becky, you couldn't put yourself to the side and let your husband have his moment. You had to be in there right at the top with them because both of you are ego driven. You're selfish. I don't have a problem with coming out to my wife's music. Tonight, I'm AJ Lee's husband. And that's how he introduced himself. Okay. And I said, okay, Uncle Phil, live your best life. Do you? Now, Seth then decided that he was going to work on AJ Lee. But before that, when Becky posed the question of AJ's neck being up to par because she's had such such an issue with her neck, and Becky has decided to target the neck. She said, "What are you going to do when I smash your neck and tear you down? You can't fight." She said, "So it's going to be your husband's fault because he brought you into this. You could have been at home watching me on TV like you always do." And AJ looked at her husband and was like, "Babe, I got this." And he was like, "All right, cool." He stepped back. AJ Lee said, "Thank you for reading my book anyway. Didn't read yours." So here's the thing. You're right. I don't know what's gonna happen. I have no clue, you know. She was like, my neck, I won 2 championships with this neck. Okay. I didn't know what was gonna happen on SmackDown when I came back. And I ended up blackening your eye. So you never know. And Becky was like, and she just told Becky straight up, like, you're the one who involved me. Had you had stayed out of their business and let them handle whatever squabbles that they have, I would not be here. You were the one who decided to be in the midst of his match. Fatal 4-way, does that ring a bell? Where you came in and low blowed my husband. Then after that, for 2 weeks straight, you were slapping my husband in the face and emasculating him on TV, or did you forget? And she was like, no. Becky's like, no. I know you have been gone for 10 years. No one could have predicted that you were coming. No one knew that. I didn't know that. He didn't know that. Your own husband didn't even know that. We didn't know you were coming back. So we didn't involve you. You just came about because you didn't like what was happening. And she's like, no, I came in here because you put it on your hands on my husband. So I'm here because of you. Nobody else. Okay?
Oh, come on.
Now, Seth Rollins basically told her, he said, hey, listen, I'll give your husband credit. The greatest thing he's ever done is marry you. That's the best decision he's ever made, was marrying you. However, we all know what happens when CM Punk doesn't get his way. We all know that it doesn't take much for him to just pick up his little raggedy ass duffel bag and just chuck it on down the road. You see, when things don't go his way, or when he doesn't get what he wants, he just leaves you high and dry, holding the bag. So what do you think he's going to do when Saturday comes around and he loses and I win and you're the reason why he loses? Do you think that your husband is going to stick around after that? Yeah, no, his track record reads otherwise. He's going to leave you just like he always does. Tuck his tail and run. This didn't sit too well with AJ Lee, so she slapped him for his troubles. However, he definitely said that he would never put his hands on a woman, but luckily he had someone who would. And that's when Becky was just standing there. She didn't move. She didn't attempt to slap him. She didn't. I'm like, well, girl, you supposed to attack. It's a call and response thing. I say I got somebody who would, and you say, ooh, me. But that's not what happened. Becky ass stood there. She said, I'm not going over there. He like, what are you doing? You're supposed to go over there and slap her back. She was like, no, that's not what we discussed. You always changing the game plan in the middle of the game. You can't do that. You got to stick to the plan. He's like, listen, she's changing the rules. Okay. Now, prior to this, AJ Lee told Seth, she said, yeah, you're the architect, you're the planner, you're the guy who always has a game plan from A to Z, but you can't plan for what you don't predict. You have no plans for me. I'm unpredictable. Child. Becky Lynch grabbed her shit and she walked out. She left. She was like, you did this. I didn't do this. You did this. And he was like, what? What are you talking about? She was like, you agreed to this damn match. I didn't. That's not what I wanted. You did this. So you're on your own. So, of course, Seth mushes CM Punk and then leaves out of the ring. This was also a ploy. So they split the two of them up. CM Punk runs after Seth. AJ Lee turns her back on Becky, and Becky comes in and hits her with a manhandle slam. The two of them, of course, are very happy with their plan, which leads me to believe that on Saturday, the Rollins family is going to suffer another loss via CM Punk and his wife, AJ Lee. With that being said, we had a match between Stephanie Baker and if I say her name wrong, I'm sorry. Stephanie Baker and Kyrie Sane. The match was good. The two women put on a hell of a match. And in the end, it seemed like Asuka was trying to go after Stephanie, to which Stephanie was going to defend herself at all costs. But Io was able to throw her off, and she shook Stephanie's hand as a good sport, but she made it very clear that she was going to be champion once this is all said and done. This led to a lot of backstage arguing and yelling with Asuka. I don't think people really understand what's going on with Asuka and Io. And to be fair, I believe Asuka feels like she's not being respected. She feels like she's being left behind, and she feels like her friend isn't taking her expertise and into consideration. So instead of listening to her friend, she's taking over and she's lording her experience, her expertise, and of course, their cultural dynamic of hierarchy over Io, to which Io automatically responds to because she's groomed to do so. Same thing for Io Sky is the same thing for Kairi Sane. If you notice, Kairi Sane is even smaller. She shrinks even smaller when it comes to Asuka, when Asuka really asserts herself over the girls. This is about Asuka being able to understand her place in this new version of the E, and how she sometimes will have to compete with her with women who she's been a mentor to and someone she's been close to, but Asuka is always going to have that bravado about her, and that is not going to change. So we'll see how this plays out. But my money is telling me Stephanie Baker is walking out of WrestlePalooza with that title, whether it be clean or because Asuka interferes, is totally up to her. Okay. So I don't know what happened with the last match on Monday Night Raw because I didn't watch it. I didn't want to watch Jimmy and LA Knight face off against Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker because, again, like I said earlier, they're going to compete at WrestlePalooza sans LA Knight. And I just feel like they should have gotten LA Knight and Jay Uso, at least give them a start or get them out the way now so we can see the dynamic between the brothers either flourish or begin to break down again. Either way, they needed to do something, but I didn't like the match that they chose. So I decided to not watch it. I decided I was out. Asuka makeup looked so cool yet really scary. Now, I thought it was really cool that she had that millipede drawn on her face all the way down her neck. I was like, that is fucking nuts, but I love it. I hate millipedes, but it looked cool drawn on her face. Anyways, the biggest match or my favorite match of the night most definitely was El Grande versus Dragon Lee. I thought that match was so much fun. Pena went up against Kofi, and it was okay. It was a decent match. It always is. But El Grande and Dragon Lee's match was so much better. It was such a good match. I didn't need to know that, but okay. I just I just don't. I mean, I didn't really care. If I'm being honest with you, I didn't really care that neither of them won. I didn't care about what they did. They should have let them have a match tonight on the show. Period. I would have rather like to see Jay and LA Knight fight it out and let them be spent and then have the Vision come in for the attack rather than to have Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker have another match. I just don't care. I just don't care. And then at the end of the match between El Grande and Dragon Lee, we saw all the El Grande Americano guys, the masked up guys, standing there doing the Spider-Man meme, which was fucking nuts. That was hilarious. I don't care what anybody says. Funniest shit I've seen all night. But it was it was an okay show. I will say it was light years better than what SmackDown was. That but Monday Night Raw wasn't amazing either. It was decent, but it wasn't something that I have to go right home about. So we're gonna talk about WrestlePalooza in a second. First things first, let's get into NXT tomorrow. NXT Homecoming is happening tomorrow, but there is a shift in this match. Tiffany Stratton is injured. She is not medically cleared to compete. Therefore, she is going to be replaced with Lyra Valkyria. I don't know what happened. It may have been a house show or something, or she could have gotten injured on Friday after her match with Jade Cargill, and then Nia Jax interfered. That injury, it could have happened then. It could be minor, and they just want her to rest and heal. So they pulled her from the NXT Homecoming match. She is not competing with Stephanie and Rhea. They have replaced her with Lyra Valkyria, and they will face off against Fatal Influence. You're also going to see Trick and Mellow Gang facing off against DIY. Trick Williams is the current TNA champion, and Carmelo Hayes is still chasing gold on the main roster, and he has a shot against Sami Zayn this Friday coming up before WrestlePalooza. The open challenge is open, and Carmelo Hayes has decided that it's his time. But I don't think his mentor and quote unquote friend Miz is going to allow that to happen. So it is what it is, people. Then we have Ethan Page facing off against Chris Pretty himself, Tyler Breeze. He'll be facing off against the current North American champion for that title. And then finally, we have the champion, the NXT champion, Obafemi, facing off against Ricky Saints. The Revolution is televised, okay? And it will be on the Grayson Waller effect. Grayson Waller will also be there. And they say there are some more fun surprises coming down the pike for NXT Homecoming tomorrow. It will be at its regular time on the CW network. As long as the Guardians don't have a fucking baseball game tomorrow, I'll be able to watch it. But, yeah, I think she's fine. If she's been replaced in Tiffany Stratton, in that match with Tiffany Stratton, then I think she's just fine. Anywhoosies, Saturday night main event is coming in November. It's going to be in Salt Lake City on November 1st, and then you're going to have Friday Night SmackDown October 31st in Salt Lake City. So you're going to have a nice little weekend for SmackDown and Saturday night main event in at the end of October, heading into November. Okay, sir. Moving into the PLE that's coming up next, it's WrestlePalooza. So we will talk more about predictions and everything on the podcast with the girls, as well as over here on YouTube on Wednesday. Okay, I'll have people come in and they'll tell me who they think is going to win. Podcast usually goes up on Tuesday, or I'll do a double whammy over here with the podcast girlies and with you guys on Wednesday. We'll see what everybody's schedules is looking like. So let's get into it. WrestlePalooza is Saturday, September 20th, and it starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. John Cena faces off against Lego Goro. If you care, I do not, so I will not be watching that. Io Sky faces off against Stephanie, and whoever wins will become the new women's champion. There are 2 tag team matches on this card. One of them, dry, you're yelling. One of them being traditional. The Usos is facing off against Breaker and Reed, 2 members of the Vision. This one is a mixed tag team match. Rollins and Becky Lynch will face off against AJ Lee and Punk. All right. And then finally, this match was added last Friday. Cody Rhodes will defend his WWE Championship against Drew McIntyre at WrestlePalooza on Saturday. This all will take place on ESPN's new app. Now, I want you guys to know something. If you have YouTube TV and you have that package where ESPN is already included, you do not have to sign up for ESPN. You already have it. If you have Hulu and you have a package with Hulu and Disney Plus already, you do not have to sign up for ESPN. You already have it. All you have to do is go into your Disney Plus app and pull it up, and it will come up under the ESPN notch. Okay. I imagine on YouTube TV you would have to find it, but it is there. You can pull it up through there, or you already know your login if you already have it set up. All you have to do is log into your ESPN app or set it up based off of your current bundle package. Now, there are always coupons and all kinds of things lying around. So make sure you do your research. A lot of times they'll offer a big discount for you to sign up for like the first 3 months, first 6 months, something like that. Make sure you look around, use those coupon apps that can go on your browser and see what you can find if you don't want to miss WrestlePalooza. If it's not important to you and you would rather focus on Survivor Series, then I wouldn't worry about signing up for ESPN. However, you are going to miss AJ Lee's first match back in the E. This is when she's going to finally get back in that ring. So I know that they're going to have a boom in subscribers specifically for that match alone. Survivor Series is on November 29th this year. It is going to be in San Diego. They don't say if this is going to be if they're going to have war games in this particular show or what's going to happen. I'm hoping that it's going to be a traditional Survivor Series, but you never know with these folks. Now, after NXT Homecoming is over and done with, okay? After we finish with the homecoming, NXT No Mercy comes on September 27th, which is next week, I believe. Yep, it's next week on Saturday. That is when No Mercy comes around. It's going to be in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And then we'll be finished with everything in this month in terms of PLEs. And we'll be heading into October. TNA will have Bound for Glory on the 12th of October. And you'll also have Crown Jewel on the 11th of October. And that whole weekend, that's my mom's birthday weekend, by the way. And you'll have on the 25th, which is the week after this, I believe, you'll have Halloween Havoc for NXT. So everything is coming at us a lot. They got a lot of pay-per-views coming up in this show. And like I said earlier, we have NXT. Well, we have Survivor Series on November 29th. Okay. It's a lot going on, y'all. It's a lot. But you pay for what you want to watch. Don't pay for a show that you're not feeling. If you don't like the lineup for WrestlePalooza, I'm going to show you guys again. If you're not a fan of it, don't sign up for the ESPN app, okay? There's no need for you to pay for something that you don't think you would enjoy. And $29 just to watch AJ Lee makes no sense when I feel like she would probably end up wrestling on Monday Night Raw sometime after that. So you can always wait that one out. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you're going to miss anything. Plus, the girls and the gays always put, and I meant that, the girls and the gays, because they're the ones who love them some AJ Lee. The girls and the gays are always going to put stuff on social media so you can see it, or you can live stream with your favorite content creator and watch it through them. Okay? It's not going to be the end of the world. I will not be live streaming this PLE because I don't think it's worth the live stream. Sorry to tell you that. If I buy a Disney Plus gift card, can I use it on my account to get the bundle? I don't know. That's something you would have to contact customer service with. Hello, Brandy. How are you? All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. That is all. Tomorrow is NXT Homecoming. Here's your lineup for NXT Homecoming. We got a true 6-woman tag team match. Tiffany Stratton is out. She has not been medically cleared. Lyra Valkyria will take her place. You've got Trick and Mellow Gang facing off against DIY. Ethan Page will defend his North American Championship against Prince Pretty, Tyler Breeze. And then, of course, you have the Grayson Waller effect with Ricky Saints, the challenger for Obafemi's NXT Championship. And the champion will also be a part of the Grayson Waller effect as well. So we have all of that going on. It's going to be a fun time. Now, just a quick reminder, the Wrestle Eat series is coming. Hubs and I are going to start filming the vlog stuff for it, getting the stuff together, the ingredients, and then we're going to start cooking. It's going to be a fun time, okay? We're going to get this stuff finished and get 2 episodes knocked out. In October, you guys will get the first batch of episodes. It's going to be interesting. I really want you guys' feedback. So when you see this pop up and I do the video, let me know what you like, what you don't like, and what you want me to feature next time, what you want to see more of, or what you want to discuss. I have asked you guys to go over to the community tab and make sure that you put all the questions that you want me to answer on that community tab. That post is still up. Just give me all your questions and I'll be sure to answer them in the first 2 episodes if I can. Okay, Wrestle Eats comes in October. All right, it's coming in October. And I think that's it. I don't think we got anything else. Hello, Hiram. How are you? I think we are done here. So make sure you guys rate, comment, and subscribe. Oh, yeah. I do my personal podcast. It is up. I try to do things that are viral, but also do things that I really like talking about. I'm going to do some more Am I the Assholes because you guys really like my Am I the Asshole posts, and I'm going to start doing some more documentaries over there as well. All that stuff is coming over there on my personal podcast, but I don't want you guys to get stretched too thin with too much content of me. Okay, so if you want to know about the stuff I want to talk about podcast, head on over to Spotify. You can listen, or you can go to my other YouTube channel. It is up there in full podcast form on my YouTube channel. I'm also going to finish Becky's book this week and get the videos up for that. And of course, you can always follow my Down for the Count podcast with my homegirls where we talk wrestling. So this week we're going to talk about a bunch of things. But we're going to talk about John Cena's final run in WWE, how we feel about it, should they do this again, if they should never do it again. And we're also going to talk about the $7 million price tag WWE tried to slap onto the city of Boston in order for them to host his last match. Girl, we're going to talk about it, okay? I will see you guys on Wednesday when we go over NXT. We're going to talk about WrestlePalooza, the match card, give you guys predictions, and we're going to have a good time. And, of course, we're going to pull SBC chat like we always do. And until then, I will see you guys next time. Do not forget, Wrestle Eats is coming in October. There is a community tab over there on the community tab where it gives you a whole thing. Give me all your Q&As that you want me to answer in my first video, second video, and videos beyond. All the questions you can think of. We're going to have those questions, or at least some of them, answered in our first 2 videos. I'll see you guys on Wednesday for Freestyle Wednesday. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more wrestling content. Check out our merch and consider becoming a member for exclusive perks, special emojis, and members-only content.